New Brunswick, New Jersey. On August 8, 2025, around 4 a.m., police were dispatched to an apartment on Nielsen Street after reports that 68-year-old Deborah Terrell was disturbing neighbors. She refused to open her door or cooperate with officers. Hours later, at 7:32 a.m., another 911 call reported Terrell was threatening tenants with a knife. Officers returned, confirmed with residents that she was armed, and positioned EMTs outside for a possible evaluation. By 7:41 a.m., officers reached her apartment. Terrell opened the door holding a knife but quickly shut it, sliding the blade back and forth under the door while shouting. During a tense exchange, she claimed a man was inside but refused to let him come forward. She reopened the door briefly, pointed the knife at officers, then repeated the same threatening behavior multiple times, heightening the standoff. Finally, Terrell stepped into the hallway holding the knife, challenging officers. In response, they deployed pepper spray and a taser, but she turned back toward them and advanced. An officer fired 2 shots, striking her. Despite medical aid and transport to Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, she was pronounced dead. A 12-inch knife was recovered, and the officers' identities were withheld due to threats. Brooklyn, NY, on August 12, 2025, at about 7:30 p.m., a heated dispute erupted in front of 533 Ocean Avenue. During the confrontation, 22-year-old Edenessen Baudoui and another man drew firearms and began exchanging gunfire. NYPD officers Lopez and Ortiz Bonilla, who were patrolling nearby in a marked vehicle, quickly responded. As they approached, Baudoui continued firing at his rival before attempting to flee on foot.
Shots fired.
In response, Officer Lopez discharged 16 rounds, while Officer Ortiz Bonilla fired 3 rounds, striking Baudoui. He was immediately taken into custody and transported to NYC Health Plus Hospitals / Kings County for treatment. The second gunman fled, but was later caught. Baudoui now faces federal charges for possession of a firearm by a prohibited person.
Shots fired. I got one.
A viral video from Jacksonville shows a February traffic stop where officers shattered William McNeil Jr.'s car window, punched him in the head, and pinned him to the ground. The clip, recorded from inside McNeil's vehicle, spread quickly online and fueled public outrage.
And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law
Yeah,
up?
when you step out of the car, I will.
Sheriff T.K. Waters later released body camera footage, admitting the incident looked ugly, but defended the officer's actions as consistent with policy and not criminal.
Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands. Here. Come here. What is your reason, sir?
Civil rights attorneys Ben Crump and Harry Daniels strongly criticized the encounter, calling the force excessive and racially biased. They emphasized that McNeil had complied and did not pose a threat. Court records show he pleaded guilty to resisting an officer without violence and driving with a suspended license, while other charges were dismissed. While patrolling GA-17 and GA-204, officers received reports of a white Nissan Murano with a shattered rear window that had fled from a Chatham County deputy. The vehicle sped through a residential area, cut across a yard, and re-entered the roadway toward Georgia 204. When signaled to stop, the driver ignored commands, weaving dangerously through traffic, nearly striking other vehicles and continuing toward I-95. An area with heavy pedestrian and vehicle activity. Recognizing the imminent risk to public safety, troopers executed a PIT maneuver, forcing the SUV to crash. The driver, identified as Amy Human Padiat, was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected, suffering critical injuries. She was transported to a hospital but later died. The case was turned over to Chatham County investigators and the medical examiner's office.
Watch out, watch out. Stop moving! Stop moving!
Nashville, Tennessee. On March 27, 2023, 28-year-old Audrey Hale, a former student of the Covenant School, arrived on campus in a Honda Fit heavily armed with 3 firearms, including 2 assault-style weapons. Surveillance footage showed Hale forcing entry through a side door and opening fire inside the building. The first 9/11 call reporting shots fired came at 10:13 a.m., prompting officers to rush to the school and begin clearing the premises. Gunfire from the second floor, where Hale had also fired through a window at responding officers, led to a confrontation with law enforcement. 2 officers, Rex Engelbert, a 4-year MNPD veteran, and Michael Colazzo, a 9-year veteran, fired on Hale, fatally wounding her.
Metro Police! Open door! On me, on me! I don't know where he is. Metro Police, open door!
Investigators later discovered writings indicating that Hale had meticulously planned the attack. A search of her Brightwood Avenue residence yielded a sawed-off shotgun, a second shotgun, and additional evidence connected to the crime. The attack resulted in 6 fatalities. Students Evelyn Decaus, William Kinney, and Hallie Scruggs, all 9 years old, and adults Mike Hill, Cynthia Peak, and Catherine Coonsey, aged 60 to 61. Police initially reported Hale as female, but later clarified she was transgender. Friends noted Hale had recently transitioned and began using male pronouns.
Watch left! Watch left! Suspect down! Suspect down!
Louisville, Kentucky. On June 19, 2023, at approximately 1:32 p.m., 2 undercover officers from the LMPD fugitive unit were seated in a vehicle while conducting surveillance related to an unrelated investigation. During this time, Officer Hayden was approached by a masked individual on foot who opened the driver's side door and pointed a firearm at him.
Send cars to me. Somebody's trying to rob me. Call 911.
In response, Hayden discharged his service weapon multiple times, striking 21-year-old Mark Jaggers Jr., who dropped the gun and fell backward.
Stay back.
Officer Hayden quickly secured the area and called for additional units while assessing potential threats.
Get on the main channel. Stop! Get back now! Get back now!
I have no weapon.
Okay, get back.
Wait, where's the shot? Where's the shot?
Right here, Bill. Right here.
Marcus!
Yeah, go ahead.
Baby!
What's his name?
His name is Mark. That's
what?
my name, Mark Jackson.
Other officers arrived promptly and began rendering aid, performing life-saving measures until EMS took over. Jaggers was transported to University of Louisville Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased.
We gotta leave it where it is.
That's my baby daddy.
One ran off. Didn't get it.
Please,
Negative. Only one accounted for. Get EMS over here.
please, please. Please, can
One
I
down. I'm
touch you?
1086.
Please, can I touch
No,
you?
this way we're gonna get EMS because he's gonna be working on it.
Okay.
Where'd you shooting?
Do what?
Where'd you shooting?
What do you need?
Hey, man, talk to me.
Officer Hayden, a 10-year LMPD veteran, was unharmed, as was the second officer on scene. Police later confirmed that Rex Wright Jr., 23, the individual detectives had been seeking in connection to a prior non-fatal shooting, turned himself in after the incident.
Give me a chest seal. That's a bandage.
On June 8, 2025, the Florida Highway Patrol in Lee County received multiple reports of a red Ford F-150 being driven erratically on I-75 near the 123-mile marker. Trooper Montesa soon located the vehicle near mile marker 127 and attempted a traffic stop. But the driver, later identified as 36-year-old Christina Bethley Slitter, refused to comply and accelerated northbound. The chase quickly escalated as the truck sped through Daniels Parkway and 6 Mile Cypress Parkway, reaching speeds over 90 miles per hour in a 50 miles per hour zone. Slitter swerved across lanes, crossed the median, and even drove onto grass shoulders and sidewalks, creating extreme danger for the public.
Right tire lane. Westbound into the neighborhood.
Westbound, right tire. Right tire, get one back.
Troopers made several attempts to end the pursuit using precision immobilization techniques, but each time Slitter managed to regain control and continue fleeing. Finally, coordinated patrol units boxed in the F-150, forcing it to a stop. Even then, the suspect exited with a hostile attitude, shouting threats at officers.
Vehicles now headed back. Westbound is on the shoulder.
Back, westbound on the shoulder. Definitely westbound on the shoulder. Making another U-turn back eastbound. 4 miles, LTSS says 54 response.
Slitter resisted arrest, attempting to slip out of her handcuffs and throwing objects at troopers before being subdued. She was transported to the Lee County Jail, where she now faces multiple charges, including felony fleeing, DUI, reckless driving, threatening law enforcement, and a seatbelt violation. Trousdale County, Tennessee. On September 3, 2025, around 2 p.m., deputies joined a pursuit after Smith County authorities reported a black Mustang with Kentucky tags fleeing along Highway 25 East. At Laddie Reese Road, a deputy deployed spike strips, but the driver swerved toward him and accelerated. To prevent further danger, another deputy executed a PIT, forcing the Mustang to a stop.
I got him. You keep your hands right there, watch still.
The driver was taken into custody without further incident and transported to jail. He now faces multiple charges, including assault on a law enforcement officer, evading arrest, reckless driving, improper passing, no registration, and no insurance. The Mustang was impounded for open title, and a hearing has been scheduled in General Sessions Court with additional charges pending in Smith County.
Jack, you have one in the trunk? There's one right there. That's what broke. It broke up.
Mesa, Arizona. On Tuesday morning around 8:45 a.m., Mesa Police Department officers responded to a distress call at a residence near Mesa Drive and Main Street, where a man was pinned under a car. Devin Haycock had been working on his wife's vehicle when a jack collapsed, causing the car to fall onto his chest. The situation was urgent, as Haycock was trapped and unable to free himself.
Where's the ambulance at?
7 Baker 34. We got him out. We still need fire though.
Relax, Zach. Yeah, just relax. We have fire for 3, right?
Officers Nolan Martineau and Josh Gardner arrived on the scene within 3 minutes. Assessing the danger, they quickly coordinated to lift the car safely and pull Haycock out from underneath. Their swift and decisive actions prevented what could have been a serious injury or worse.
Don't ever use one of those again, man. You need a jacket or something, you know, my mom's right here, I'm right here.
You gotta jack it up and then put the stand under it.
I was asleep and I heard somebody call 911. I got up, I was like, oh shit. So I tried to even have one. Yeah, that's what we had to do, man. I mean, yeah, it would have took too long. Hey man, I'm glad you're all right. Make sure you give them something tonight.
Thanks to the officers' rapid response, Haycock did not suffer any major injuries. The incident highlights the importance of quick thinking and teamwork during emergency situations, as well as the commitment of Mesa Police to protecting and assisting members of the community in life-threatening circumstances.
Well, yeah, but internally, I don't know what you got going on. You have to pull the car out.
On July 12th in Florence, South Carolina, deputies attempted a traffic stop on an SUV driven by 22-year-old Brittany Nicole Jeffs along North Cashua Street. Instead of complying, Jeffs allowed a passenger to exit the vehicle before suddenly accelerating away, setting off a dangerous pursuit. The decision to flee quickly escalated what began as a routine stop into a serious public safety incident. As deputies pursued, Jeffs drove recklessly at high speeds, colliding multiple times with law enforcement vehicles in an attempt to break free. Her erratic maneuvers forced deputies to employ blocking tactics with their patrol units to contain the SUV and prevent further danger to other motorists. The chase came to a violent end when the vehicle crashed, leaving Jeffs ejected from the driver's seat due to not being properly restrained. She was immediately transported to a local hospital for treatment before facing a judge in court. Jeffs is now being held at the Florence County Detention Center, charged with multiple offenses including failure to appear, driving under suspension, and failing to obey a stop signal. While patrolling northbound on Interstate 75 near the I-285 interchange, Trooper First Class Dawson, Unit 584, observed a silver Ford Focus traveling 88 miles per hour in a 55 miles per hour zone. The vehicle weaved through traffic, made multiple lane changes without signaling, followed too closely, and displayed a dark license plate cover that obscured the tag. When Dawson attempted a traffic stop, the driver refused to comply and accelerated away. The Ford Focus quickly reached speeds over 100 miles per hour, continuing to swerve across lanes without signaling. At one point, the driver nearly collided with other vehicles and unlawfully entered the high-occupancy vehicle lane despite not carrying passengers. The reckless driving created highly dangerous conditions for motorists along Interstate 75. The pursuit ended when the suspect exited onto Georgia 166, made an improper high-speed lane change, and lost control of the vehicle. The car struck an embankment and overturned, coming to a rest.
75 northbound, ramp to 166. Ramp to 166, I'm gonna shut it down.
There, ramp to 166, shut it down.
probably gonna be a fatal. That's blood. I can't see anything, though.
When officers approached, the driver was found deceased from severe crash injuries. South Metro Towing later removed the vehicle. On the night of January 21st, 2022, at approximately 8:17 p.m., Atlanta police officers observed a silver Dodge Durango committing an illegal maneuver at the intersection of Interstate 75 North and Northside Drive. When officers attempted a traffic stop, the driver refused to comply and immediately accelerated, sparking a dangerous pursuit through city roadways. The Durango raced away at extremely high speeds, weaving recklessly through multiple lanes of traffic and nearly causing several collisions. After exiting onto Moores Mill Road, the suspect escalated the danger by crossing a double yellow line and barreling directly into oncoming traffic. This reckless behavior put countless motorists at risk and forced officers to act quickly to prevent a serious tragedy. As the chase neared the 17th Street exit, a Georgia State Patrol trooper executed a precision intervention maneuver, forcing the Durango to lose control and come to a stop. The suspects inside were immediately ordered out of the vehicle and taken into custody without further incident. The driver received a medical evaluation at the scene before being transported to the Fulton County Jail to face multiple charges. Effet, Georgia. On the morning of a reported armed carjacking, a stolen Honda Civic reappeared on Highway 85 South. Investigator Fisher spotted the vehicle near Stonewall Avenue and immediately called in nearby units. In response, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office coordinated with the Fayetteville Department of Public Safety to organize a tactical response, preparing for what could become a dangerous confrontation. Shockingly, officers soon discovered that the driver behind the wheel was only 14 years old.
1050 Oakley. 1050. Continue straight, he hit the stop sign.
As units closed in, the stolen Honda began to lose control, veering onto the sidewalk while still attempting to escape. In a desperate move, the juvenile driver suddenly swerved into oncoming traffic, creating a dangerous situation for everyone nearby. Moments later, the car crashed, bringing the chaotic pursuit to a dramatic end.
.46, move out.
When the vehicle came to rest, the young suspect emerged holding a firearm. Surrounded by multiple armed officers, he quickly realized there was no escape and dropped the weapon before surrendering.
Show me your hands! Put your hands up! Get on the ground! Drop the gun! Drop it! Hands up! Get out! Get on the ground! Get away from that gun! Put your hands up!
He now faces a long list of charges in DeKalb County, including theft by receiving, fleeing and eluding, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and underage possession of a firearm.